Good afternoon. It is October. I was about to say August. October 19th, 2022. And it was a downtrend day, as you can see here. Kind of range-like, though. And I think prices closed very close to the opening price. This is the channel I drew afterward. These highs would have given you this trade here. You probably wouldn't have had I originally had the lows drawn like this, but the midline really works when you draw it right there off of this swing low. And you can see that midline multiple times. Price is responding to it. So I do believe that to be accurate. So let's take a look at these trades. I think 5 o'clock comes in right there. This is not a great setup, unfortunately. It looks very congestive to me. However, it does look like a trap. So, I mean, if you're feeling very confident, that's the first break of this trend, and it is a second entry at 502. This looks like a double bottom to me, right here and here. So, I do believe that is a second entry short. It's just there's some overlap there. And then everything after that is just too sideways for my liking. And this looks like we got one leg, 2 legs down, a break, move to a new low. And this looks like, sideways stuff and a reversal right here. So when you get that reversal right off that trend line, that's also a second entry long, I think you got to take that one. And we come up here, we get an overshoot that leads to a break. I looked at this as a double top. It looks like a double top, and this closes higher than this bar, and you get a first entry, failed second entry, confirming that trend channel. I like that. I like that entry. That's a lot of congestion, so I mean, you got to know what you're doing. So in real time, if you're seeing that, I think you can take that. You get an overshoot. The resistance holds, but then we get a break. And you get this lower high. That's a second entry, poor signal bar, lower high. And so you might take that. Not the greatest because you're going into all that support. And it's probably left over from right there. So not the greatest setup, but you might take it. Make this new low, we shoot on up here, we get a break, move to a new high, and then you get a reversal. And even though this closes above the EMA, and when it starts rocketing down, I like that. I think you take that. I think there's some trap longs there. People who probably rode this back to the EMA and are exiting. You can see this, and prices are failing to test this low, and you get 2 legs down, and this looked like congestion. So when we come up, test it, break lower, come up again, and we try and go lower again, and it fails. I like that, to ride it back to the highs of this range, and it goes a little further. Then we get this range. It's probably just a measured move, really. I didn't draw it that way, though. Nothing in here. So I kind of looked at this as a triple top, and so the count reset and a first entry, second entry. So that's just, it's not a failure, but I like that just because we're officially making higher lows and higher highs. So I like that. Maybe you have to go long on that engulfing bar. I don't know, because in real time you're probably playing this range. So it's probably more of a green, but I like it. I like the look of it. Overshoot leads to a break. That looks like a second entry, but the signal bar is no good. Come up here, and we form the highs of this potential trend channel, and we start to reverse. And you get a first entry, second entry, super bearish bar, but this trend line isn't confirmed yet, so I marked it aggressive. Then you get a first entry, second entry, and this doesn't make a new swing high. So it's aggressive, and this is all stacked up. But with how bearish that was, and it's off this trend channel, and this trend channel might be, it's probably more like that. That looks better to me. And then you have plenty of room down to this low. So anyway, we come down here, we get an overshoot that leads to this break. That looks like a second entry short. And with my trend channel drawn like that, this looks a little better, but we did get this overshoot. However, it also looks like a failed breakout. And you can see there was some support there, but it didn't work. And then you get a nice little reversal pattern right here after the break and the move to a new low. So looks pretty good to me. Those are inside bars though, so you got to be careful. But usually that'll test the high, and there's room to the highs. So then you get a first entry, second entry, just not a good signal bar, and you know the bias is down at this point. We already got a break of this channel and a move to a new high, so it's aggressive. This is a range, so not sure if that would help you at all. No, nothing here. I don't see anything in here. And you get this first entry, failed second entry. After this break, move to a new low. Really nice failure. Problem is you're going into these highs in this double test. So I marked it blue because I liked it in real time. But I'm sure you could argue for that to be green. We come up and we confirm this trend line. And you get this lower high after 2 legs up. This is a good setup. Plenty of room back to the EMA, it looks like. 2250. So yeah, enough for a scalp, 4 ticks, and a lot of people like that. We go lower, come down here, you get a double test, but to go low on, or short off, but the signal bar is no good. It doesn't make a new high, and then you get this lower high, but we're just in a range. So we come down here, we bounce off the overnight lows. Technically, that's a second entry, but you might have that trend line drawn, but it's a doji, so I don't think you can take that. Among other reasons to not take that, like we just bounced off the lows. Then you get a second entry short right here. This is just so congestive. I don't think you want to take that. I probably shouldn't even mark that. We get these 2 legs down. Well, really 1 leg down, but you can see there's 2 legs in there. And then we get this channel of correction. I don't know if you have this trend line drawn. Now you probably don't want to go long there, but that's a second entry off the trend line. Just not the greatest context to be going long on. Anyway, we get a break of this larger channel, but that's also an overshoot of this channel. And you get a second entry here off that trend line, but it's doesn't make a new low. And we just had that overshoot, so probably shouldn't even mark that, but I wanted to at least talk about it. And then we get this, you get this double test right here. We're expecting to make a new low. It looks pretty good to me, but I couldn't mark it because there wasn't enough room back to the EMA. But that looks pretty good. And then we get this reversal pattern after it tries to go lower a couple times. I marked it blue. Honestly, I don't think I would take that just because of how big that bar is. And you can see, yeah, backed up. Get a small break here, move to a new high, and we're just going sideways. Again, we have a higher close right here, so this kind of looks like a double top. First entry failed second entry, but it's looking like it might be a range. But I do like this. At least the test. That's tough because I probably, you might have your range drawn up here, and at that point you're going into the lows, so that's tough. But it works out, and rocket up. Okay, so this lower high that far from the EMA. So the reason this one was so good is because it's off the trend line. This one is not off the trend line, and we're still within this short-term channel. So it's really important to draw these short-term channels. And I don't see anything else. And yeah, that brings us to the end of the day. So that's what I saw today. I hope everyone had a great day. I will be back tomorrow.